Hey, Grizz TCG here, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to play the Pokemon TCG. Alright, so I guess I'll start with the types of cards you'll be using in the deck. So, should we mention that decks have exactly 60 cards in the deck for it to be legal. And you'll have up to 4 of a card of the same name as well. So, let's say 4 Arven. Yeah, you can have up to 4 Arven. And there's stuff like for Pokemon, there's stuff like Pikachu, where you can have up to 4 Pikachu, but they don't have to be exactly the same. They can be Pikachu from different sets and such. Yeah, as long as they're called Pikachu, it can be up to 4 of that from any set. You can also have, on top of those 4, you can also have up to 4 Pikachu EX, V, that type of thing, because it's technically a different name. So, that's a bit of an interesting thing for you, I guess. But anyway, we'll start with the Pokemon itself. So, basic Pokemon. At the start of the game, you'll have one the active, but then outside of that, basic Pokemon can be played down on the bench immediately, as long as you have the bench space, which is up to 5. So you'll have 6 Pokemon played, just like the games themselves, because normally you have up to 6 Pokemon. There'll be 1 the active and then 5 on the bench, or in terms of the games, it's 1 that's out battling and such, and then the other 5 are in the party, just waiting to be switched in, I guess. So outside of that, we'll go through stage 1s and stage 2s, I guess, as well. I don't have stage 2 with me at the moment currently, but basically they're just stage 1s, but they evolve from stage 1s. Anyway, so the way evolution works is if the basic Pokemon you want to evolve has been in play for at least 1 turn, and then put the stage 1 on top of it, to then evolve it. And it will start like this, as that's how it would look like in play. And the same thing for stage 2s. If the stage 1 has been in play for a turn, at least, you can then put the stage 2 on top to evolve it. So in terms of the stats we have here, we've also got the name, obviously, the basic thing in the corner. Then we have the HP. So that's how many hits it can take. So in terms of damage, I mean. So if Bidoof takes 60 or more damage, then it gets knocked out. And then your opponent will take the amount of prize cards that it's worth, which in this case would be 1. And then you'll put the knocked out Pokemon in the discard pile, along with everything attached to it, which we'll go through later what the types of cards those would be. Along with everything that's on top of it, so, evolve stage and such. Then we have the retreat cost. So in this case, it's 1. And then, Ubrel here has 2. So for each, little symbol here in the retreat cost, that's how many energy you discard. So the way retreating works is you discard the amount of energy from here, put in this discard pile, sorry, and then you'll then switch it to the bench and put something else in the active. So it's effectively a switch, which is also something we'll go through a bit later, as well as like an item. Yeah, then we got the weakness and resistance. Bidoof doesn't have resistance, but normally, because we'll go over the weakness first, probably, a bit more sense. So Bidoof here has a weakness to fighting, so, it will take double the amount of damage to fighting type Pokemon, pretty much. And then resistance, there's nothing there, but, it would have the type, and then minus 30 for whatever type it is they will be, resistant to. Then we have the type itself, so Bidoof here is a colorless type, or normal in the games, depending on where you come from. Or depending on the background of the Pokemon, of where you are Pokemon, I guess. But yeah, it's a colorless type, or normal. It's not good against anything, realistically, typing-wise, but there are some other Pokemon here, like Electric in this case, because this is a deck, I'll go over 3 in a second later. It will then do double the amount of damage to Pokemon that are weak to the type that it is. What is there? Abilities. So, abilities here, they stay in play no matter what, unless it says otherwise. So, this one is Carefree Countenance. Sorry, I'm really bad at this. As long as this Pokemon is on the bench, so down here on the bench here, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks, both yours and your opponent's. So, actually, this is probably much better example here. So the ability here, Industrious Incisors. So once during your turn, before so this is usually before you attack, because attacking ends your turn. Again, we'll go through that later. You may draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. So let's say you have 2 cards in hand, so you have 2 here. You'll then use Industrious Incisors to then draw up to 5. So we're drawing an extra 3, so you end up with 5 in hand, pretty much. So it's a pretty good ability, to be fair. Just there for now. Yeah, and then we've got attacks. So Tail Smash here needs 3 energy. So by the way, the white ones, colorless, they can be any type of energy you attach with. Well, let's just say this Miraidon EX. This needs 2 electric and 1 colorless. So the yellow ones, these have to be electric energy. The colorless can be any type. So 2 electric and a fire, 3 electric, 2 electric, grass, like that type of thing. Either of those work. Well, Bibarel here can have 3 of any type of energy. So when you attack, if you have the energy required for, obviously, you would say what attack you're using. So in this case, Tail Smash. And then you'll say how much damage you're doing. In this case, you would also flip a coin, and if it's tails, it doesn't do anything. So you have to flip heads for it to actually do the damage in this case, but normally you would say Tail Smash 400, and then do whatever the attack does down here, because some attacks don't do that. Some attacks don't have that, and then have a bit of extra text, but yeah. In terms of the Pokemon, I think that's pretty much all of it, so that's nice. I guess there's also... Sorry, we have Rulebox Pokemon. So, Rulebox Pokemon have a little thing down here saying when your Pokemon EX or whatever it is knocked out, you take 2 prize cards instead of 1. And then basic regular Pokemon like this, they just have a default of 1 prize card from it. So, yeah, moving on to the next part. Just give me a second. Made a bit of a mess behind the camera. So I guess I'll start with the other types of cards in terms of what you'll be using in the deck to help your deck work. So we'll start off with items. Or trainers, I should say. So trainer cards. So these are items. We'll say in the top left here. These you can use as many times. You can have any number of. You can use as many item cards as you want in the turn. Obviously, you have to have the card in hand, so you can't. When you use a card, you put it in discard pile, by the way. But you can't, just use it, go back to hand, use it again. Not that type of any amount. You'll have to have the Switch in hand to be able to. So you use the Switch, and then if you have a Switch in hand already, outside of that, then use that again. That type of use as many. And then when you use it, you'll do whatever it says on the card. So in this case, switch your active Pokemon with only your bench Pokemon. So, say like this, you'll then use the switch, put it in the discard pile, and then you would just do that, basically. So that's what a switch does, in particular. Yeah, that's basically the switch done. So, or items, I should say. Then we have supporters. So, in the top left, it will say supporter. Then down here it says you can play up to or only 1 supporter during your turn. So, in this case, Professor Research, you will discard your hand and draw 7. So, you put in the discard pile, and then you'll draw 7 cards. I don't know if that's 7. No, it's not. It is 9, I think. There we go. 7. I think, yeah. Then you'll draw that from there. And that's your new hand, basically. Yeah, I probably should have gone over that. So, no, it's fine. We'll go over that. We'll go over the setup later. So tool cards. These are cards you would attach to a Pokemon like this. So they can help, they would usually they either boost the HP, make the retreat cost less, make a Pokemon do more damage, make the attack cost less, kind of just stuff that helps the Pokemon work better, I guess. In this case, Vitality Band. Just like items, you can use as many as you want in a turn, and LP will say Pokemon tool. So in this case, the attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to do 10 more damage to your opponent's active. So let's see if this was attached to Bidoof. I don't know, you just have a Bibarel as the opponent's Pokemon. Go for Hyper Fang. Instead of doing 30, it does 40 instead to the opposing Bibarel. Then we have stadiums. And again, they say stadium to the left here. And then, just like supporters, you can play one of these a turn. And the way stadiums work is if they're in play for the entire game. And, the only way you can get rid of a stadium is if you play a, you have to play a stadium of a different name to get it out. So you can't play another beach court, you can say. It has to be a different thing. Either yourself or the opponent does it. And then once a stadium is replaced, the new one stays in play, the other one goes into discard of the owner's the owner's discard pile. And then we have basic energy, so this is what you'll be using to attack with. So let's say in this case you'll have two of these, or two of any type I should say. Use Hyper Fang. Yeah. The only different thing compared to other cards is basic energy. You can have any number instead of, you know, up to 4, like most. You can have as many basic energy. Special energy is different. It's the same as every other card. It's up to 4. But, yeah, basic energy, you can have any number. Alright, so now that we know what each type of card does, I guess we'll start with the setup. So, first of all, what you do is you look at the top 7 cards of the deck. Alright, cool. And then you'll look for basic Pokemon. So, in this case, I have 2. So, you'll see by the top left here. You'll then put one, you'll put them both face down. One in the active, one on the bench. I have much space here. Normally the space is a bit bigger, but I've got a bit of a small recording bit. Then this is the rest of your hand, so we'll put that to the side for now. And from there, you get the top 6 cards, and then put them face down over here. Make sure you don't look at them, because that's what you'll be taking as prize cards when you knock out a Pokemon. Alright. Then from there, I have our hand here, and that's basically the setup. So, at the start of every turn, you draw a card. Also, but we should do the first thing you do before that is at the start of the game, you then flip over your Pokemon. And yeah. So then you draw your card. So this is what we have to work with. So, every turn, you can you can attach one energy to one of your Pokemon. So, we'll start by attaching to Zeraora. So, by attaching energy, you put it onto the Pokemon. And make sure it's visible for the opponent so you know where it is. I guess in this case, we can also attach a tool card. Attach that to Zeraora as well. We'll just put it on the same side to make it a bit easier. And then I should probably mention, before you start, you know, you set up, and then before you flip over everything, you will then flip a coin. Then Sue goes first and such. I probably should have done that before. Let me just go get a coin. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. So now we've finally got the coin. So in between setting up and flipping over your Pokemon here, and obviously starting to play the game, one player will get their coin. The opponent will then call the flip. They flip. I guess we go with, I don't know, heads. I guess so. I mentioned the Pokemon side here. That is heads. The back side here, where it's black with the logo and stuff, that's tails. So let's just say the opponent calls heads. Flip it. It is heads. So the opponent will then choose if they want to go first or second. Going first means you cannot attack or use supporter cards. Second can just do everything. First can, but they can also play those two. They can do those 2 things as well. So anyway, let's say we're going second. So just to make this a bit easier, so we've done those 2 things like we said before. We can also play this stadium down. So we'll put this in play over here. So again, that stays in play until the different stadium is played. We also have a supporter to use, but we don't really need to use it, I guess. So this one says you switch your opponent's bench Pokemon with one of their active Pokemon. This doesn't really matter in this case because we can't see the opponent's side currently because we're just focusing on our side for now. So if this was a different supporter, we can play it. Do whatever it says. Switch we can use if we want. Not that it really matters in this case, but we will normally, like I showed before, you will switch Zeraora onto the bench and put Bidoof in the act instead. And then I should probably mention that Beach Court here. The retreat cost of each basic Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's, is 1 less. So Bidoof here, because it's a basic Pokemon, it has 1 retreat. It will be 1 less, so that means it has no retreat. And Zeraora here already has no retreat, coincidentally, so there is that. Anyway, so there is nothing else we can do, because we don't need to use this. We don't know what the opponent has, so in this case we don't need to worry about that. And then we've already attached our energy, and with that said, the only thing we can do now is Battle Claw. So for 1 electric energy, which we have attached here, it does 30 damage. And then if your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolution Pokemon, so stage 1 or stage 2, it's like V-Star and such, but that's not really relevant. This attack does 30 more damage, so 30 plus 30 if it meets the requirements here. And then we also have Vitality Band, so it does 10 more damage. So the base damage in this case is 40, and then if the opponent is an evolution, it does an extra 30, which then equals 70 instead. And then let's say we knock out the opponent's Pokemon. So then actually we'll have a hand. So we do Battle Claw, we knock that out, we then take a prize card, which in this case is a Regieleki. And also attacking ends our turn. So whatever we get off the prizes we cannot use until the next turn. So opponent ends their turn. Now it's our turn. We draw a card. We then play down Regieleki onto the bench because we have bench space here. I mean, not that I have a lot of space technically, but then what cards we have here? We have a new item here called Electric Generator. So look at the top 5 cards of the deck, and then attach up to 2 electric energy you find there onto your bench electric Pokemon in any way you like, and then you shuffle the other cards back. So let's say we want to use this, we put it in the discard pile here, and then we look at the top 5. Oh, there we go. So we got 3 energy, but we can only attach up to 2. So we'll grab 2 of them. These will go back in the deck, so give that a shuffle. And then you will then attach these to your bench electric Pokemon in any way you like. So in this case it's just Regieleki. So we'll attach those there. And then we haven't attached our energy for turn yet, so we'll attach that to Regieleki as well. And then Zeraora here has no retreat. So we can just retreat, so switch like that. And then, well, now we have a much better attack here with Targeted Bolt. This one's not too bad, to be fair, of an attack, but in this case, you'll probably want to use this one. The camera doesn't really focus properly. As much as it can. So, Targeted Bolt here is 2 electric, 1 colorless, just like before with Miraidon. It can be 2 electric energy, and then any type, the other one. So here you would discard 2 electric energy from the Pokemon. This attack does 120 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So let's say we use that. Use Targeted Bolt. We'll then discard 2 energy. Put those into the discard pile here. And then we do 120 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. And then, I don't know, let's say it gets knocked out. And take another prize card. And then they have their turn. Well, let's just say our Pokemon gets knocked out, so we then put all cards attached to it, along with the Pokemon itself, in the discard pile. Put up our Pokemon, and then we pick up a card. Probably mentioned, when the Pokemon gets knocked out, the first thing we do in our turn is put something in the active. And then we draw and start our turns there. Yeah, that's the basics of how to play the game along with the setup and everything. Yeah, I guess with that said, we'll probably go into the the little details of things that you probably need to play the game, or recommendations of things you need. Alright, so I guess I'll start with the extra little things you need outside of cards. So we'll start with the deck box. So this is what you would use to then put your cards in. So you would just open up the deck box and just put the cards in. This is a bit of a weird one to do with. There we go. You can just put it in like that, so it keeps the deck protected. Yeah, these are generally pretty cheap as well. These, especially these particular ones. Ultra Pro, which is here we go. I don't know if they're still in business realistically, but these are generally cheaper, pretty cheap to get. They all protect your cards. Then you have sleeves. So these help protect the cards themselves, especially cards like these, where they're a bit rarer than other cards like this. Just keep them protected, easy to shuffle without breaking them as well. I think I just hit the camera. There's a lot of different types of sleeves as well, depending on durability, shuffling, but it's basically a personal taste, I guess, or personal choice. As for extra things, little things, obviously you need the coin to be able to play the game, along with other things that make you flip coins. You have burn and poison markers, so you will then, for special conditions, some of them you just rotate the card depending on what status it is. But these, because we only have 3 rotations of a card outside of the just normal, non-affected thing, we have markers for the last 2. So let's say a Pokemon is burned, you'll put it on top of it to signalize that's burned. I think that's the right word. Also, when a Pokemon goes to the bench, special conditions and any other effects are removed as well. So that's probably important to know for when you actually start playing. Yeah. Along with that, we have our V-Star marker. There we go. So the way this works is a V-Star Pokemon, as you can see here, they have a V-Star power down on the bottom. You can use these once per game, and then you will then flip this over like that to signalize that you've used it, so that both players remember that that you've used your V-Star, so you can't just do it again by accident. Yeah, it doesn't really matter in this case for this particular deck, because there are no V-Stars, you know. But as a general thing, if you have a V-Star, then you're probably gonna need that. Then we've got damage counters as well. So I guess we'll start off with this. This is a replacement. This can also be a replacement for a coin. So what you'll do is just roll it, and then if it's evens, then it's heads. If it's tails, then if it's odds, then it's tails, I should say. But more importantly, you have damage counters. So let's say a Pokemon has taken 140 damage. You'll then find the 140, whatever it is. Oh, there we go. And then put it on top of it to then signalize that it's taken 140 damage. And in this case, you need, 80 more. So once it gets to 80, then it gets knocked down and such. But yeah, these are very helpful for signalizing how much damage your Pokemon has taken. In terms of literally all of this stuff, outside of coins nowadays, and V-Star, depending on the thing, I guess. This stuff here can be found in the League Battle decks, which we'll go over. Which is what this deck is. This is a League Battle deck, which are like decks that are built to be at least somewhat useful for newer players. Yeah, so those are the extra little things that you'll need to be able to play the game alongside your deck. In terms of the deck itself, this particular deck here is the Miraidon EX League Battle deck. There are other types of decks as well, obviously, League Battle deck was, but there's also other decks like was the EX battle deck, which is generally just 59 cards plus an EX to go with the deck. Then there's, was it EX deluxe battle decks or something, which are generally they have more EXs. They have like 2 EXs and a Radiant from what I've seen, which are basically a card you can play one of in the deck. In case you're wondering what Radiants are. And then the rest of the cards are just a normal deck basically. And then League Battle deck, which are these are more competitively built. Yeah, also I should mention, all these cards, all these types of decks that I'm saying that are products, they're all made for beginners generally, or people who don't have the cards. And yeah, looking through this, I just realized, we do have a V-Star. For a Seal Stone, so this is a tool card you can attach to V Pokemon. I'll see if I can find one quickly. We have Regieleki V and VMAX. VMAX is just basically just an evolution of the V. Just why you mentioned that. So this is a tool card as well, I should say. I know it says item, but it's all items that are Pokemon tools here. These are also tools, so they've kind of changed it since then. So you attach them, attach the Seal Stone to it, and then when you want to use it, you just do that, and go from there, pretty much. It's pretty simplistic if you have played the game for a bit. Maybe not for newer people, kind of, but it seems a bit weird. But yeah. I guess we'll go over what a League Battle deck contains. That's generally what you want to be buying for the newer end. So, the Miraidon EX League Battle deck, it comes with, in terms of the more expensive end of cards, I mean, this is an expensive card on its own, but in terms of, cards that aren't just regular ones, I think that's all of them. So in this particular has, second. So it comes with 2 Miraidon EX being the main attacker, and then 2 of each Regieleki V and Regieleki V Max. Yeah, and then some the other 54 cards, I think. But outside of the deck, you don't get the sleeves. These are just a separate thing. You get one of these coin dice type of things, replacements, along with 6 of these damage counter dice, and these marker things here. I can't remember if it comes with the V-Star or not. I'll have a little thing here, in editing, saying if it does. But at the bare minimum, you're getting the deck along with some of the damage related things to go with it, which is basically all you need, realistically. It does also come with a deck box, but that it won't fit cards that are sleeved. It will fit the unsleeved deck of 60, but yeah. That's pretty much everything you need to know, realistically, for playing the Pokemon card game. So, let me know in the comments if you have any more questions, if I missed anything. I'll let you know there. Yeah. With that said, thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully this helped with your Pokemon journey. Sorry, that sounded a bit stupid. Yeah, anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Comment any other questions you have. And, yeah. So, yeah.